So this is D&D Beyond. I am joined with Relics and Rarities, the cast, Deborah and Woll. First off, why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to create your own show and Dungeon Master live? Because last time I saw you, we talked about this. And yeah, it's a big question. But we talked about this last time, and you had such great ideas. And you were telling me about Dungeon Mastering for your friends, and you had such passion. But I didn't know that you would eventually have your own show. And that's insane. What has that been like for you?
Well, I did it for the same reason I do most things, which is that they asked me. This wasn't like me going, Geek and Sundry, do I have an idea for you?
Make this happen.
No, yes, I did that event I did that game at last year's event, which was the first time I had Dungeon Mastered publicly, and I was really nervous, but it went really, really well, and I was super proud of it. And because of that, someone from their company saw me and said, hey, you want to come do something with us? And I was like, okay, let's talk about it. And then they told me, the basic thing they wanted to do, and I thought about it, and I came up with this idea that I got so excited about, and I was like, I think I have to do this.
How did you loop him in?
Yeah.
Well, again, that was Geek and Sundry. They're geniuses. So we were putting this thing together, and we knew we wanted 4 main cast players, and so I brought 2 people to the table, which was Julia and Tommy from Witch of Briarclef last year, and then they brought Xander and Jasmine, who are staples at within the gaming world, and I think they knew. The keywords that I was using for a lot of the show was like wonder and imagination and childlike, glee and things like that. And so I think that with Xander and Jasmine, they knew that they would be a really perfect fit. And they could not have cast better.
You're just very excited about everything.
I'm enthusiasm personified.
Yeah.
What has this been like for you?
Amazing. It's been incredible.
It was the worst. I really wish I wasn't involved.
Yeah.
You're not excited or enthusiastic at all.
I know. I had done some previous work at Geek and Sundry, but they kept putting me in their horror shows. They kept, zombie apocalypse, vampire, We're Alive. Yeah, all of this stuff. And I'm like, I don't really care for that. It's fun. It was incredible. But then when they were like, oh, well, we've got this D&D show we want you to consider. And I was like, yeah, 100%. Not only do I love D&D as a game system, I've been playing since the 5th grade, but also to get to work with high caliber talent. It's incredible. I'm on top of the world.
I think that's a good answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was kind of the inspiration for the plotline for this for you?
Honestly, the structure. Well, because the limit that the only thing Geek and Sundry told me was it was going to be 6 episodes, and that they wanted a different celebrity guest every episode. I think it was kind of coming off of that celebrity D&D idea.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to do that show, but they wanted to kind of keep that structure alive. And I was like, okay, so how do you write? And they wanted an overarching story. So it's how do you write an overarching story and still explain that someone disappears and is replaced by another person every episode? And I also knew I wanted to switch up the locations. I wanted every episode to be in a really different place so that they had to contend with different elements. So with those combined, I kind of got this idea of we'll do these individual kind of one-shots that all lead up to one grand finale. And it was the idea of Horcruxes in Harry Potter, that you cannot kill Voldemort until you destroy all the Horcruxes. So you have to go on these mini quests in order to complete the big major quest.
What has this been like? This, you're so enthusiastic in game, and to see you not subject your players.
No, you can say that.
Yeah.
I'm a very nice
You are.
I'm an extremely nice dungeon master. I
let us
say
get
yes
away
to
with
all
everything.
of their plans.
Yeah.
All of their plans.
All of them. Tell me one time I said no to their plans
No, that's
on
true.
that show.
That's true.
Why are you both so passionate about D&D? Why is this so much fun?
Well, I think it boils down to just storytelling with friends. You're just hanging out, but you get to create something. You're creating memories, you're having this experience, and you're sharing it with everybody. And we're very fortunate because we get to share it with the world, which not a lot of people do. And, we get to go on these adventures, and then other people get to have that experience with us and share their thoughts on it as well.
Yeah. I'm a real weirdo, and I was a math geek growing up. I still do algebra to like calm myself down sometimes.
Wow.
There's something really fun about a jumble mix of numbers and letters that looks complex and confusing, and then slowly, using logic and intelligence, you boil it down to X equals Y equals, and that's a really calming thing for me. So the reason
Unbelievable.
I'm a weirdo.
I have trouble calculating the tip.
I know.
It's very easy. Take 10% and double it for 20.
Sure.
You just move the decimal over. It's very easy.
Oh no.
But anyways.
Shamed.
Shame. But for me, that's what I love about D&D is problem solving. So it's puzzles. I do puzzles all the time. That's something that really excites me. But a puzzle can also just be, there's a 10-foot hole and you have to get across it. How do you do that using the tools you have? So I love this game for that reason. I'm not a fantasy person. I'm not a GAC person. I don't collect minis or do any of that stuff. What I love about it is it's present in the moment acting that involves problem solving. And I will do it forever because of that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you encourage people who are watching shows like yours to do this, to make that leap, to play?
We've been really fortunate because a lot of people have come to us saying, because I watched Relics, now I want to play. We have a lot of fans that watch a variety of like streaming games, but I think there's something about Relics, and especially bringing in these celebrity guests that maybe don't have a lot of experience, that kind of inspires people like, oh, Kevin Smith, he's never played D&D, that's weird, but if he can do it, then I could do it too.
That is totally weird.
Right.
He didn't. So you are the reason Kevin Smith has played D&D. You have unleashed that upon the world.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I have. No, the majority of our guests, we only had 2 guests who had played previously.
What about your friend from Daredevil? Did he play D&D before?
Nope, not ever.
You really are a D&D pusher.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about
In
this
the best
before.
way.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Hey,
That's what I
you
do.
got any more of that D&D?
But I think some of it, and we've talked about this a little bit the rest of the places, I felt, because of my own prejudices against or stereotypes about the game, I thought I wasn't welcome. I was so nervous to step out and play this publicly, and that's because I had this preconceived notion that everyone was going to hate me. And to come out and do it and see that it's the opposite, to see that everyone has really been like, yes, come, play this game however you want. I wanted Relics to really represent that and say, come and play this game. If you don't know anything about the rules or you don't know anything about the world, it doesn't matter. Make your own world. If you get the rules wrong, who cares? This is about creating a story, and the rules are just there to support that, not the other way around.
What story are you both trying to tell? Because there's like things that, because when you play D&D, something very, very personal and raw comes out very often. Like even like villains. The villains I make are like often like a small piece of me I like that I know is like evil, right? Like, and then blown up like out of proportion. You know, like that Thanos stuff, like where Thanos is like thinks he's got a point.
Right.
You know, his math isn't great.
No.
You would probably like argue with Thanos about like his
Double
his
the
math.
resources, not have the people.
But like, what makes it personal for you? Like, what are the stories you want to tell?
Yeah, well, that's such an interesting question because I think it changes for me from either even game to game, but session to session. You know, each arc, I think, explores a different aspect of a character's personality, and that, to me, is fascinating because I'm living in another person's shoes. I get to experience things that I would never experience. And so I don't know if I'm exactly working things out in my personal life. I very well could be. But for me, it's a game and it's entertaining, but I think it's important to tell like underrepresented stories. And I think that's just what I like. And so I want to create the media that I want to watch.
Yeah. Similarly, you know, I've always been kind of a square. And I think that's a bit of what. Yes, laugh. It's very funny. I was. If you couldn't tell.
Tell me more about maths.
Yeah. At first, I thought you were going to say my favorite part about D&D is the math. Like, what? You're the only one.
I'm the only one who likes the math.
You miss Thaco?
Thaco. We've talked about Thaco
a couple
so
of
much.
times.
Yeah.
I know, that's amazing. Well, no, I don't love arithmetic.
Sure.
You know, I like calculus and algebra,
Puzzles,
statistics,
yeah.
those things. But no, but similarly, I think for me, it's about tapping into what it was like to be a child, to be a kid, to be free. Before that, we all have that moment when you're about 13 where suddenly you become self-aware, which means you become self-conscious, and you start to hide parts of who you are because you think that they won't like it or you won't be accepted for whatever reason. And so much of D&D for me is about taking those masks off and saying, no, who I was as that kid is great, and they're fun, and they deserve to have a voice and to play. And I think that that's true for all of us. So that's why I think Relics is I use childlike wonder. I want to tap into those things that make us feel like a kid again.
Do you both feel accepted now?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's
done. No more insecurity ever. I'm healed.
Yeah.
I feel I have no insecurities or anxieties at all now. That's what's great.
But no, I've mentioned it a few times. But I'm as a gay man, the queer community and the D&D nerdy community had always been kind of separate, and to see them merge together and create this powerhouse is just so incredible. And so I feel like I belong like I never have before. Because, I always was trepidatious about, I'm playing with a bunch of straight guys, and so I can't do this. But now it's amazing. It's amazing.
What did you ask?
I do feel welcome.
I feel welcome, right?
I was asking if you are a good listener, but
See, here's the problem. It's the opposite. This has happened a number of times tonight. It's because I really enjoy what Xander has to say.
Thank you.
And I get really wrapped up.
You are very compelling.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So you're
I'll
going
take
on, and I'm
it.
like, oh my God, that's such a good point. And then I go, wait, I was supposed to say something after him.
The internet is going to attack me now that I've attacked Deborah and Woll.
No,
You didn't attack
it's
me.
all good.
You didn't attack me at all. Not at all. I'm an
But that's what
excellent
we're talking
listener.
about.
I'm
Like,
too good a
sometimes-
listener. That's what it is. What do I love? Or I feel. Do I feel
do you feel
welcomed?
accepted now?
Yes, I feel accepted within the D&D community 100%. I don't know about at large. I'm still, I'm a grown-ass woman, and those 13-year-old kids still determine every step I take in my
Sure.
life. But that's true of all of us, and I do think that the great thing about this is it gives more power to my voice and less power to their voice.
Yes.
So the more I play this and the more I'm part of this community, I think the better I'll get.
Have you seen that? The people watching your show and feeling more included, have messages come in. Has any of these moments not broken you, but just been deeply
Sure.
emotional?
Yeah.
Tell me about your darkest moment.
Yeah. No, I think that there's something about, especially watching streamers or people that are playing a game, that people think that they know you or they have a relationship with you because you're yourself at the table. You're playing a character, but when you describe it, you're yourself. And so it builds up this kind of relationship with the audience that I think is unlike anything else. And they sometimes overshare some things because I'm not a psychologist. And so if somebody's coming to me with their larger issues, I can only be like, I'm glad you like the show. Sorry. But it is moving to hear more women or people of color or trans people coming forward and being like, I know that this community accepts me, and that's important. Yeah. And I think it's a testament to what we created with Relics that inspires people to share that.
Yeah. Same here. There have been a number of times people have come on and said, I watched it with my kid, and then that night they drew a dungeon or they tried to write something, which I think is great. And some other people mentioned as well, that the lighting on the show was very appropriate for all skin tones, and that's really important. And it's not always recognized in our business, as crazy as that is.
Right.
That was important, and that we had a diverse show. We had a show that brought in a lot of different people. Also, like we said, experience levels.
Yeah.
That you are welcome in this community, even if you've never played before.
Single favorite moment of the show so far?
Ooh, okay. I don't want to spoil too many things, but there is a character that passes, and there's a season-long arc of my character kind of building the resurrection potion for it, and to have that pay off in such a cool way, I think that was I get goosebumps even thinking about it right now.
Without knowing it was going to pay off that way either. Doing it preemptively and then going, oh.
Yeah. Those moments are what I live
together.
for.
Yeah. Oh, a favorite moment. So the first episode, what was really fun and interesting, we had played a little prequel episode, so we knew that we all had chemistry and it was great. We were just like, just bottle that and bring it on Monday. It was wonderful. But I knew that I had some tricks up my sleeve that were a little different than, at least I thought, than what I had seen on other shows. And the first time for me was putting the shroud over my head to play the ghosts, the little kid ghosts. And when I saw I knew I was going to do it. And when I saw all of their faces when I did it, and they went, oh my God, what did she just do? And I was like, yes, I got him.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the moments as a DM that you live for. You're like, how can I get him to like gasp or be so engrossed in what's going on that they let their guard down, you know? So that was a favorite moment.
What do you love most about your character? You don't have one character.
She has all the characters.
You have all of the characters.
A favorite.
But yeah. Who is the favorite for you, and what do you love about your character right now?
For me, I play Ricky Huckster, who has been a blast to play. I love playing the kind of nervous person who's just kind of like, I don't know if we should go in there type of thing. But he's got a certain sense of wisdom about that as well. But he's also like conniving and very greedy, and to see an arc of him maybe even breaking that or coming to terms with like, oh, I've created this family with these other people. I think he still has a long way to go, but I'm excited to go on that journey with him.
Yeah, he's a hero.
Kinda.
100% a hero.
Yeah.
He's trying, doing his
A
best.
hero.
Extremely hero.
Tell me more about being a hero.
Yeah. Can it make me money?
Perhaps.
Yes, it can.
And we keep saving poor people.
Oh my.
Oh, no.
Our characters would do well together. Yeah.
But that's true.
I know.
It's like the second episode, he sent him someplace that like doesn't use currency, and he was like,
I'm leaving.
What's your favorite character or villain or NPC that you've made?
Well, so it's Dr. Akiva, who's
Dr. Akiva.
she's my Valley Girl mad scientist. I don't know, I really like doing her, and I like it because she's flawed. So the great thing is she's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
She only got one spell off the entire adventure. Because they got her number very quick, and they realized that if they could appeal to this like arrogance that she has, that they could keep her from doing anything. So like all she ever did was like mage armor.
Yeah. She would have
She's like,
messed
I'm
us
a
up.
little suspicious.
The most exciting of spells, mage armor.
I'm a little suspicious. I'm gonna put on my mage armor. But then he said all the right things, and even when he rolled low, he would change his tactic, so he would get another go at it, you know?
Yeah.
And so they kind of kept her from ever becoming too much of a threat. But again, that's what I love about dangerous villains. I like to hit players with things that they cannot possibly win if they just trade hits. They will not win, ever. So you have to be smart about it. You have to have a plan in place. And because they had a plan in place in that final episode, it's the only way. I'm telling you, a Death Knight
Right.
and an 8th level spellcaster.
Yeah, we
like,
were. And we were all 5th level.
Yeah. I mean, there's no possible way they could have defeated both of them. A Death Knight. So they had to be smart about it. They had to use strategy and skill and find the right things that were going to help them. And I just think that makes for a lot more dynamic gaming than just I hit, they hit, you hit, then you hit, then you hit, then I hit. You know, and it really opened it up a bit, and it meant that our fighter character spent that entire last battle in roleplay.
He was role playing the whole time.
That's an important point, and I think that's something that people forget in D&D is that just because you're low level doesn't mean you can't interact with a god, with a devil, with someone who is far more powerful than you, with dragons, because that forces them into this situation of like smash kill doesn't work. What do I do now? I'm like, oh, I have to roleplay.
Yeah.
And I better roleplay really well.
Yeah. And I think that's more entertaining to watch.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Because it's like, what are they going to do now? How are they going to mess this up or or get it done?
What do you want next? Like, are we going to see even more Relics and Rarities? Are we going to be seeing more of these characters?
Well, you'll be seeing us tomorrow at 2 p.m. up there on the stage.
Yeah.
That'll be in World. It's the next sort of mini episode of Relics and Rarities. And then we haven't got an announcement for season 2 yet, but we're still hopeful. And so we'll see what happens.
It's all outlined.
Right.
I know exactly where they're going and what they have to do. So if we just if we can get the go-ahead, it would be amazing, and I would really love to do more. And I can't imagine this show without our 4 main cast, so it would be them.
Job security.
The best job security is just being adorable and lovable and invaluable.
That's the hustle, being adorable.
I guess, yeah.
Being adorable and invaluable and good at your job.
And maths.
And maths.
Yeah. I'm saying maths like I'm British.
Right.
Yeah,
I went along with it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and.
No, we're making it a thing now. Thank you so much for being on the show. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. This was so much fun. And again, Relics and Rarities.
Yes.
It's on Geek and Sundry. It is a fantastic show.
Yeah, it's on the Geek and Sundry YouTube channel as well as their Twitch channel.
Watch Deborah torture her players.
I'm so nice. I don't know.
We have a good time.
I'm really nice to you.
The nicest DM in the multiverse.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.